The future of FIFA looks different, to say the least. Earlier yesterday, EA announced their earnings for the previous quarter, in which they blew out expectations, absolutely killed everything in terms of FIFA 22 comparing to FIFA 21. Revenue is up so much, and as to be expected with all the new microtransactions and everything in this game. But EA were asked some very interesting questions, including the big question on what's going to happen with the naming rights next year. As most of you may know by now, EA are likely not going to re-sign with FIFA to get all the rights, as well as other questions with NFTs and crypto and all that kind of weird stuff too. But with tons of new games coming out, including UFL and GoalsGame and I guess eFootball, and with recent rumors coming out that 2K may actually have a shot at getting the FIFA rights, what is the future of EA Sports and FIFA, the franchise, look like? What is it going to look like? What could happen? So in this video, I'm going to kind of cover everything, just kind of show you guys all the news, and I kind of want to go over what could happen, because I feel like not a lot of people are really talking about this, because this could be the start of something completely different that we've ever seen, and I feel like there's nobody really giving it any attention. If you guys do enjoy today's video, make sure you guys drop a thumbs up on it, and if you guys are enjoying the daily FIFA 22 market videos, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notification. And of course, if you guys do want to support the channel further, check out the channel memberships right here or in the description, where you guys can access a private Discord as well as get into some giveaways. So first off, we're going to start with the NFT and crypto kind of stuff with EA, because they have said it outright that this is the future of their gaming industry. So what does this exactly mean? You know, what can people actually do with this? Now, I by no means am an expert in any of this. I really don't even pay too much attention, but I do know the basics of it all. And I am a little bit into crypto or whatever. Essentially, they want to make it so everything has a actual real life value to it, whether it's certain cards in game, or whatever it might be, weapons or skins that you see in other games and stuff. This is what EA would want to kind of push their game into. And with FIFA wise, it would be with like player cards and, you know, maybe like tifos and customization stuff that they could add in. Now, I think this is very interesting because, you know, EA are really, you know, we already know how greedy they are. So it's going to be interesting how they could put this into place. And I can definitely see something kind of happening, you know, where they would push this out very, very soon. They say they want to push it out very soon. And with the whole name rights and everything, I could imagine that EA would want to push this out for within the next 2 years. But EA, the CEO, Andrew Wilson, he called NFT and play to earn games the future. And for those that don't know what a play to earn game is basically you have to kind of buy it or buy a game like that. But what you earn in game is digital content, and it can increase in value or decrease, of course. And it's kind of like its own market in its own. It's essentially the FIFA market, except the currency would not be FIFA coins. It would be something, it would be a cryptocurrency kind of as that currency. So then you can move it into, you know, Bitcoin or into, you know, from Bitcoin to US dollars, however you wanted to do it. They could do something like that. And honestly, a lot of people are kind of against it at first, but I think it could be a really good idea if optimized correctly. It could be really the future of our games, but I know they have to find a good balance, because at the end of the day, it is a game and people don't want to use this as a business, and that's completely understandable. I mean, a lot of people just want to hop on a game of FIFA just to play football, so EA do need to be careful with what they do here. I mean, especially with all the other video games that are coming out, the new football games, they have to be careful because they could lose a lot of players. But this could completely reshape Ultimate Team. Not that this isn't already in the game. I mean, let's be honest, those icon cards and stuff, the whole icon black market stuff we saw last year, where, you know, people will buy literally straight up icon cards for $1,000 just to have them in their team because they're so rare. This is what it would be like with a play to earn kind of thing, where you can kind of, you know, get these exclusive cards and then sell them. Now, of course, you know, a good majority of stuff that you get won't be worth anything, but there'll be the few rare things and stuff like that. And EA have already started doing this. They are in the early process. They've been hiring people for this kind of blockchain stuff. So I think this is really interesting. because this is really going to change everything that they have as far as, FIFA goes. Let's be real. FIFA is the main cash cow for, EA Sports. Like, it earns them the most money every single year. So this is absolutely huge for them to add in. And we did see that Ubisoft announced its plans to develop these games too, so this is just the start of many games you're going to see do this. Now let's get into the next big thing, because maybe all that isn't what you want to hear or whatever, and that's understandable because that is a huge change in gaming. But let's talk about this. 2K Sports are in discussion with buying the FIFA football license from EA Sports. Now, as I said, this could be a interesting thing too, because if EA are going to move into that kind of new blockchain stage, it's kind of hard to do it with real players, because you get into a lot of licensing issues and stuff. So if they were to do something different or move their game in a different direction, they would kind of have to. And 2K buying this would be interesting, because obviously 2K has a very, very good career mode, pro clubs, player kind of my player system. And let's be real, FIFA's has been the same forever. We have had the same kind of concept for a long, long time now. Just this year, don't mind the shitty stats. Just this year, we are seeing some little bit of changes, but the game looks pretty much the same every single year. And I think, with pro clubs too, it's another mode that really doesn't get any love at all. It has been the same mode forever, man. I'm telling you. So if there was something like 2K to come and buy this, I think it would be the end of Ultimate Team being the crazy thing that it is. Because I think 2K with their My Team, it's just not as good as the My Player mode. And I think that finally you would see a massive, massive change to the way that a football game is going to be played. Now, of course, maybe 2K don't want to take this on, and be understandable, because that is a huge, huge task. But we also have other games like the GoalsGame that we're potentially going to be seeing, or even that UFL game. So we have a bunch of new games coming out, and we do have eFootball, but let's just be real. That game looks like absolute trash right now. What a downgrade it's been. Alright, no more slander of eFootball. We're not even going to talk about it anymore. But let's just say these games do come out. What happens to the player base in this situation? Because there are a lot of different routes that these games can kind of go. You can go and completely scrap the Ultimate Team stuff, which right now is making tons of money, but competitive wise, it's just a matter of time before it comes crashing down. Because let's be real, the mode is old. It is getting old. It is the same thing every year, it seems now. And competitive wise, it is horrible to watch, horrible to play. And really, the future is going to be in 11v11 kind of game modes and stuff. So do these game modes, do they only stick to that? Or does one of them adopt the, Ultimate Team kind of, game mode? And even then, with there's so many games that want these rights, which games are going to end up getting the rights to it? Just to clarify, because that didn't make much sense what I just said, essentially what's going to happen when everyone gets different rights. So for example, we know eFootball right now, they do have the rights to a couple teams and a couple, Serie A teams. So what's going to happen when the rights are split amongst 4 different teams or 4 different games? Where do the players go, and what happens in that scenario? Because at the end of the day, EA might lose the title of FIFA, but they could keep all the rights to the clubs and the players and stuff like that. So what then will happen to that? Because someone brought up to me in a Twitter comment that Football Manager, it used to be called Championship Manager because the dev team split up. And the guys that kept the name was Championship Manager, and the Football Manager were the group that kept the database. And everyone plays that database game because Championship Manager just isn't around anymore. As someone who's growing as a content creator, and I think all content creators should be concerned, where are all the players going to go to? If we have 5 football games, 4 that could be good, where do all these players end up going to? Especially if all of them are actually decent games, like, they're hyping it up to be. I'm sure 1 or 2 of them isn't going to be that great, but I'm sure there's going to be some competition between a bunch of them. So it's just a matter of where are all these players going to go? which modes are going to survive and which content is going to survive. It's all going to be really, really interesting to see and hear and kind of find out, and I'm really, really excited to kind of see it all, especially because at the current moment with the current game, this game itself, the community is super toxic. The game mode of Ultimate Team is absolutely terrible, and EA are probably one of the worst devs that you could ever have for such a popular game like this. So it's really going to be interesting to see what happens in the next year, because I really think that in the next 2 years at least, we will have a completely different game, a completely different kind of football gaming experience to what we have right now. I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are. Please leave them down below. If you are interested in more content, check out these videos that are going to be popping up. And until next time, guys, peace.